Good morning, everybody. I am going to speak to you a little bit about our Global Business Council and some trade missions that I went to and we went to. So back in 2007, Alex is laughing at me. NAR created the Global Business Council for cooperation from the NAR members to other countries and their real estate organizations. What many people don't realize is that in other countries, the practice of real estate is really, really different than from here. We're very organized. That's why when we talk about CAR and NAR, we talk about organized real estate. In other countries, believe it or not, if you had some money and open up an office, you can start selling real estate to other people without even having a real estate license. Some countries, you don't need a real estate license. And not only that, but many countries don't have that cooperating MLS. So if you're not familiar, but the MLS was created so we can cooperate with each other from offices to offices so we can share commission. Well, in many other countries, that's not the case. So there's a lot of double entry deals. There's a lot of non-sharing and hoarding of listings and commissions. So that's one of the things why NAR created this program for us realtors to go ahead and start cooperating with other countries and get other countries in the same system as we have here in the United States, where you're not just referring people out or referring people in and not getting paid, right? So one of the things one of the designations that NAR created was the CIPS, the Certified International Property Specialist. I recently got mine back in August this year, and I got pinned in our January, or what was it? November, sorry. I'm a little off on my days today. I got pinned in November at San Francisco, so I was able to witness that. And it's interesting because, so with CIPS, they provide resources for realtors once you get that designation to go onto a database and see other realtors that are CIPS designees. And there's it's a very robust referral system. So if you have a client that wants to purchase in, say, Belize, does anyone know where Belize is?
Yes.
Where? Budapest. Yeah. Did I just, oops. Yeah, and so if you have somebody that wants to purchase another country, you can go ahead and refer them out. And there's a big database of realtors or real estate brokers and agents in those particular countries where you can, that are trusted in our real estate circle that you can refer your clients to and get a referral fee from that. So really the CIPS program is a referral-based program, and a database where you can refer out and refer in clients. Another designation that NAR has is the At Home with Diversity. So I haven't gotten this designation yet, but I'm planning to do so. And this program actually helps realtors to be able to bridge that cultural difference. When you're talking to other to potential clients in other countries, unless you're familiar with that country's culture, you might be saying the wrong things or saying the wrong words or giving the wrong gestures, and it might be offensive. So it's one of those programs where it kind of bridges that gap for the cultural diversity that we have in this world. So I clicked through this slide earlier, but this is me getting an independence ceremony at NAR this past November. So I was getting my CIPS pin, which I'm wearing right now. So as I mentioned before, cooperating associations, right? So there's many countries out there, and out of all the countries, there are over 100 associations that are participating in this program. So 100 different associations that we can reciprocate to with in the Global Business Council program. So yeah, I know I went to a few trade missions this past September. Went to Taiwan. I know Frances will be speaking a little bit later, and she went to Japan. And a few other members here also went to Taiwan, right? Did you also?
This year, last year.
Last year, I know, not this year, last year, and Malaysia. So we, as the West San Gabriel Valley Realtors, we are the Ambassador Association to Taiwan. And this was established back in 2009 by Ling Chao. Was she here? No. Okay. Where we are their sister city. So that's basic. We reciprocate directly with them, and we go over to and do outbound trade missions to Taiwan and other countries that we choose to sign memorandums of understandings. Basically, those are understandings of, hey, if we have clients, we're going to refer them over to your association, and vice versa. If we have clients that want to purchase in Taiwan, we will refer them to that association, and they will distribute it among their members of who will get that client. We also, NER also has a global ambassador that is assigned to each country. And our global ambassador liaison to Taiwan is Linda Lee. So you might see her around here every once in a while. You probably see her in a few pictures as well. Basically, they are either realtors or NER staff that will that also has a CIPS designation that will be the liaison for each particular country. So the Global Business Council is comprised of you, the members. So I know in a different slide we'll have our current members, but how many Global Business Council members do we have here? Raise your hand. Thomas, you're not on there? I think you're on it, don't mind. Yeah, so we have a good group. There's many, we have at least about 20 or so on that committee. And basically it's a committee in our local organization that provides education and different opportunities to participate on a global scale. So one thing I didn't mention also in terms of Global Business Council, so the global business or global real estate is similar to, it's a niche that you might want to get into. So we have residential real estate, we have business opportunities, we have commercial real estate. So international real estate is just another niche of being a realtor that participates in certain criteria or certain niche in the market. So some people just strictly, like Ben over there, works strictly commercial, some residential, but he's a commercial broker or agent, and so is Carla. Where most of us are residential, well, there's also international business. So a lot of people build their or get their income through through international referrals. So that's basically a niche that, if you don't understand in the Global Business Council, it would be more of, you want to get into that niche of selling and buying, representing clients internationally. This is something you want to try to delve into. It may take time because you got to build up your clientele, but that's what these programs are for, is to get you to participate, build up your network, and start your referral base. And it works with the international community instead of just locally within your state. One other thing that we also have is in our organization throughout the United States, NER has over 130 global business councils. So those exist at the state level and at the local levels. And their budgets can range from $0 to 5 figures. I don't think we're at the 5-figure mark ourselves, but we have a certain budget ourselves here that we have for our Global Business Council to participate in outbound and inbound trade missions. As I mentioned earlier, the Global Business Council was established in 2007 by NAR, and in 2009 is when we established it here in our local association, and we've been signing MOUs ever since. We've had 15 MOUs signed so far, and you'll see it outside in the hall over here. I recently signed one with the Hualien Association of Real Estate Brokers. So in other countries, they can't call themselves realtors because realtor is a trademark of NAR. So you got to be called yourself real estate agent or real estate broker. So broker is the universal term for the owners of real estate companies. We signed some MOUs with, of course, Taiwan, China, Malaysia. We just signed one with Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Mongolia, Mexico, and Hong Kong. And who knows, maybe Scotland will be next. What is the term for, what was the raising of the?
Gazumping.
Gazumping. See, that's a term. What was the other one?
There's the gazundering.
Gazumping is a term that they use in the UK for when you're in escrow and you hold that escrow hostage because you want to lower the price. So it's not like here where you negotiate after inspections if you want some repairs and whatnot. Over there, they're at signing tables like, nope, you know what? I want $100,000 less, or else I'm not signing. And it happens. So it happens in that country as well as other countries. But it's interesting when you take the CIPS course on what you learn from other countries and what's available. Gazumping. Yeah, I was gonna get a T-shirt. It says Gazumping. Gazumping is bad. As I mentioned before, there are ambassador associations that where we cooperate. So we have we signed a MOU last year with Nelson, and actually Nelson came up to us at the CIPS and said, look, let's start reciprocating because I have some clients I want to send your way. So that was one of the reasons why we signed these MOUs is to start reciprocating clients. If they have, because a lot of foreign investors want to invest in the United States because they see real estate, United States real estate as a strong market, so they want to invest their money here because in other countries they don't really trust where their money's going to go if they invest in their real estate there. Sometimes the government just takes it away from them for no apparent reason, and there's no such thing as eminent domain over there. It's just, they'll just take it away from you. So they feel it's safer investing in United States real estate where they can see their money appreciate, and eventually they'll come back and forth and do more investments. We also, here's our business council members. As you can see, that list is growing. As you see it, this year I had the privilege of having Helen and Yin be my co-chairs and Alex vice chair for our organization here, and they did great because one thing that we did do great with was our accomplishments. So I will talk more about that later. Inbound trade missions. As you can see here, we have some pictures of countries that came in, real estate organizations that came into our association, and we hosted them. We took them out, we signed some MOUs. You see Susie in the bottom right corner, signed an MOU, and I believe that's Ed Chow as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So on the inbound trade missions, very publicized. So we, after we have our inbound trade missions, we also send that information over to local publications and get our name out. That's part of our community outreach here at the organization. For our outbound trade mission, here's where I was at the Hualien they call it HAREB, H-A-R-E-B, which is Hualien Association of Real Estate Brokers. And this was, I'll tell you one thing, it was a great experience because they do a production. It's not just just sign it here and go around. There's picture taking, there's media, newspaper. It's a big deal to have an MOU signing in these countries. So it's not something to just go through the motions and just to take a photo of. No, they're serious about let's go ahead and sign this memorandum and let's start doing business together. This was just a pre-them of the MOU signing. So we signed the MOU here, but then there was huge other events that took place, and this was from CAREB. CAREB is the Chinese Association of Real Estate Brokers, and this was a huge production. It was an award ceremony that lasted for at least about 3 hours. It was like the Oscars for real estate agents. They gave medals, they gave trophies. We gave them a big plaque ourselves. This was televised. I mean, they had security there with wands and everything because we had a surprise visit by the president of Taiwan. So the president of Taiwan was also here and sat maybe, I don't know, three or four chairs in front of me. It was like pretty, that was the closest I got to any president. Or at least country president, because I sat two doors, again, this was the Hualien Association of State Brokers, and this is where we were signing the MOUs. Again, big production, so we take these things seriously, not just to go through the motion. When we were at the Hualien and they gave us a tour of the entire the area, on the top picture there, you're gonna see some things that look like Lego mountains, right? But that's a model of buildings that they're planning to build. And they had a model building that was where it's an eco-friendly building, so it's very green. So if you see the green outlines, the vertical outlines going up, that's all plant, that's all greenery. And you'll see the different levels, and those, I thought real estate was expensive here. And you go outbound into Taiwan and even China, and the real estate is even more expensive there, so it's kind of amazing. But this, they had a sample or a demo, a model unit of these these units, and it's kind of a condominium complex, but it's very green. Everything was automated. As soon as you put your fingerprint, it opens the door opens by itself, it slides open. And then as you walk in, the blinds will open to whatever settings you have. So it was kind of like futuristic in a way where it was, I felt like I was in Demolition Man. I don't know who watched that movie, but yeah, everything was automated. It was insane. I thought I want one of these, but for, I think we're like 600 square feet in our 600 square feet, a little studio. It was like, I don't know, like close to $800,000 in our money. So it's kind of, yeah, not quite what I want to do here. In the lower left, you see 2 towers there. That's also part of this big old master plan of this complex. So this was a farmer. He had this large acreage, at least about 150,000 acres of land, and he decided one day that he just wanted to be a developer, and comes up, hires some architects to create this master plan of having this entire residential community that's all green. So these 2 towers here will be green towers, and the models down below, the little beige things, those are trees actually, they're just model trees. On the bottom right, this was actually really cool. This is the only Starbucks that is made of shipping containers. So containers that you see on trucks or on trains or on the boats, this owner decided, hey, I want it, on the right-hand side of that, you'll see this big building. It's a huge mall or shopping center it's actually got the Guinness Book of World Record of the largest mosaic building, because it's got over 1 million mosaic tiles on that building, and right next to it is that Starbucks. And the originally Starbucks did not want to do this concept because of safety, because they're like, wait a minute, these containers, it's 3 levels, but the 3rd level is really for balancing and stuff, and the 2nd level, you can go 1st and 2nd level, and it's all dining area for customers. But Starbucks didn't want to do this because of safety reasons. So this owner decided, let me hire this German architect that was world-renowned, but I don't know his name because I'm not into the architecture. But he came and designed this and stabilized it and did all this, calculations, and he presented it back to Starbucks and said, look, this is going to be safe and this is going to be pretty unique. And lo and behold, Starbucks approved it, and it's the first and only Starbucks that's made out of shipping containers. I believe there was about 12 or 13 shipping containers total. And I noticed in this particular region of Hualien, they like repurposing these containers. So there was actually another yard that was kind of it was a park for kids, like a little theme park, and the entire border was made out of shipping containers. So that was kind of interesting how you can repurpose these containers. And I know here in the United States, I've seen some shows where they have shipping containers, and either there's a company that actually gets these containers, and if you have tight spaces, they can turn that into a pool. And they can cut out sides of it and put plexiglass, and you can see overlook whatever scenery you have. But there's also so many things that you can do with real estate using containers, and I think this one was really cool. The line was super long, so we didn't get our Starbucks there. But oh well, we got coffee elsewhere. At our outbound trade missions, I gotta say, the short amount of time that I was in Taiwan, I think I gained like 50 pounds. Every food there was, I think 15 courses. It was just amazing. It was like food after food. But then I started realizing, once the giant full fish came out, and the fruit, and once that came out and the fruit, I was like, okay, we're almost done here. But I had to pace myself because they kept throwing food in front of me, and I can't say no to food. And besides the food, another thing that they put in front of me every single time, and there was like literally at these events, there's literally 60 to 80 people at a time, and this is for lunch and dinner, and they come up to you with a little shot of whiskey. So it's kind of weird. And you can't say no the whiskey, right? But 80 people coming up to you to have a shot of whiskey is a little too much. Right there in the middle, we went to a local market, which is very famous in these regions of Taiwan, where there's little markets for food and other sorts of souvenirs and gifts, and that was the time when they kind of dared me to try, like who's laughing?
They dared you?
They dared me to try stinking tofu. And yeah, first and only time. So it's an acquired taste of the delicacy that I am going to pass on moving forward, but if dared again and I have to, then I probably will. But every time that we went to an organization, they had a spread for us. It was crazy. It was amazing. And so basically, while I was in Taiwan, I had to break my diet. This was actually one of the places that they took us during the Taiwan trip, and it was raining, so there was high tide. It was really crazy, but on the upper right-hand corner, it was kind of crazy. It was a little cove, and every time the water splashed against the rock, foam just floated in the air. It was crazy. It was just like foamy air. It was like, I never seen that ever before, and it was just foam buildup in the water. So I don't know why it does that. Don't ask me. In the middle, there was this rock that has been forming for years, and I know Ling, when she was there, she was telling me that she remembers this as a kid. So that's been a while. But this shape, you can't really tell from this particular angle, but the shape of that rock, they call it the queen, the queen rock. And if you look at certain angles, it looks like a head of a queen, like the top crown actually looks like a crown, and it was pretty interesting. And it's a big old thing, but in order to get to that was a trek. You actually had to walk a good portion on uneven terrain just to get to see that rock. And when you get there, there's a line just to take a picture with it. So it's kind of like you find different ways to take a picture, but that line is where you'll get the best view of that rock, and it's actually really cool. On the lower left-hand corner, it's another picture of oceanfront in Hualien, and on the right is my painting rendition of that picture. So I painted that one on the right.
Wow.
That was every Monday night. My family and I, we take an art class in Montebello, and they said, well, what do you want to paint? I said, well, I don't know what I want to paint, but I guess I'll paint an original, because normally we'll look at a picture and we'll paint that picture ourselves. So it's kind of like an original, but we're going off of someone else's picture. This one was a picture that I took and I painted it, so it's an original. Will be auctioned off later. No? Also, one of the cool things about the Global Business Council and our outbound and inbound trade missions, NER recognizes us with awards, and we've had 7 platinum awards, a gold award that you see over there, and in order to get to the next level, you have to have 5 platinums in a row. And we got that this year. We got our Diamond Award, finally, which is the highest award you can get. And that's a real big achievement for us. And again, like I said, the international real estate is a niche for people who want to build up their referral system. So it's really good to start going to these events and go to the Global Business Council meetings at the CNR and NER and see how you can get involved. And this is us, that's me holding the trophy. I really didn't know how to hold a glass trophy, so I covered it with my left hand. So. and then there's, we run deep in our Global Business Council, so we went to NER, we had a good number of people that participated and ended up with us at the ceremony, International Night Out, where we received the award. And on the Global Business Council, on our website, we actually have a Global Business Council page. So you can see a lot of the events and activities that the Global Business Council participates in at the local level. So if you ever want to participate, we're always looking for members to join, to get familiar with international business.